It's number 1 versus number 2. Liverpool versus Arsenal. हाँ, number 1 versus number 2. सुन के ही अजीब सा लगा ना.
कितना अजीब ही लग रहा
हाँ, it's yeah, it sounds wrong, right? But
है.
it's position number 1 versus position number 2,
ये
which
भी
also
अच्छा है.
makes it
It's not
sound
much
worse.
better, Nidhi, it's not much better.
But yes, it's Liverpool versus Arsenal. और
Yeah.
भाई बहुत बड़ा मैच है आई थिंक. और लिवरपूल पे और मेरे पर्सपेक्टिव पे तो आएंगे.
Hmm.
बट वेलकम टू मेनेस एंड द मॉन्क. हम कर रहे हैं प्रीव्यू लिवरपूल वर्सेस आर्सेनल का, जो कि आज आप देखने वाले हो. ये वीडियो हम बेशक एक दिन पहले रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं, तो इसमें हम आपको बहुत सारा चीज हो सकता है आपको रेलेवेंट नहीं लगे, एक दो चीजें छोटी छोटी, बट
Hmm.
we'll talk about the game. And Daksh, let me start off by saying this. पिछले 10-15 साल में
Hmm.
this is the best Arsenal team to visit Anfield or not?
I would say yes. Maybe it's like super close with the team that visited Anfield last year. And I think the first 30 minutes में हमने खेला था. I don't think I have seen many teams play at Anfield that way. जहाँ पे we just felt like a bit too quick for Liverpool. वो midfield of Henderson and Fabinho मेरे को लग रहा था उस टाइम कोप ही नहीं कर पा रहा था जितनी तेज हम चल रहे थे. आई रिमेंबर मार्टिनेली का एक गोल था एंड
Correct.
हेसूस ने जो सेकंड गोल मारा था फ्रॉम अ हेडर एंड एवरीथिंग एंड आई वाज गैस. मैं उस टाइम लंदन पे था. आई स्टिल रिमेंबर हम 2-0 अप चले गए थे एंड आई वाज लाइक पिंचिंग माय सेल्फ कि ये हुआ क्या है. But no, I think in terms of flair, maybe last team was better, but in terms of control and in terms of a team that gives me a lot more confidence, I would say this is one of the better teams, if not the best team, जो एनफील्ड पे आई है. ऑफ कोर्स पीछे हमारे पास ओजिल, सैंचेज, लाकाजेट, ओबामियांग वाले भी थे, बट वो टीम में यार वो कोहेशन नहीं थी. सो आई थिंक या यू राइट प्रीटी मच. आई थिंक दिस इज probably the best team that's come to visit Anfield.
डेफिनेटली यार, मतलब. और मैं एक चीज मैं बोलूंगा, आई थिंक वर्जिल वैन डाइक का एक स्टेटमेंट था जिसमें इट वाज लाइक गुड गुड गुड
Good,
गुड
good,
गुड.
good, very good.
कुछ उसने ऐसा 20 बार गुड बोल दिया था. बट मैं जेन्युइनली, और तेरे को पता है दक्ष, whenever I do my previews or whenever I talk about Arsenal, तेरे को याद है पहली बार जब we did an Arsenal preview with you, उस टाइम पे when Arsenal were sort of air quote struggling, right? तभी भी मैंने बोला था कि भाई आर्सेनल का एक प्लान है जो दिख रहा है. आई थिंक राइट नाउ आर्सेनल अपने प्लान के, तूने फ्लेयर की बात की, but I think maturity wise this team is much ahead of your team last season. I think
Yeah.
Arteta himself is much more mature
Hmm.
compared to last year. I think team ज्यादा mature हो गई है. एक transfers players और वो उसकी बात तो हम डिटेल में आएंगे, we'll break it down. But I think definitely one of the best Arsenal teams to visit Anfield in a long time.
Yeah.
Or mentally or physically top shape में. I think right now Arsenal is playing the best football in the Premier League for sure. You could make a case in Europe. They are playing the best football in Europe. Now, coming to this, मेरे को एक बात बता, what is your general feeling? And I don't mean to like ऐसा न्यूज चैनल के जैसा कि आपको कैसा लग रहा है, but मतलब what is your general feeling? Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling कि भाई एनफील्ड है और लिवरपूल, मतलब what's the general sense you think?
No, I would say ki like last year, if I put myself back again last year I was like, oh, title hunt and it's post January and
हाँ,
Liverpool को हरा दिया तो बस I think if you beat Liverpool then title आ जाएगा. I don't think अभी stakes उतने high हैं compared to last season, because last season felt कि this is the final hurdle to get over, and if you get over Anfield then you are pretty much in the clear with 1-2 small bumps आगे चल के. Right now मेरे को stakes उतने high नहीं लग रहे.
really?
बट हाँ, नर्वसनेस मेरे हिसाब से अभी भी है यार. आई थिंक getting any sort of result at Anfield is very, very difficult. You are not only playing against, of course, the atmosphere and the ground, yeah, but also you are playing against a team जिसने अपने आप को reinvent कर दिया है. एक top class manager तो है ही है, and a team that is being led by, I would say, 4 to 5 world class players. So it's not going to be easy, यार. I am nervous. I am cautiously optimistic.
Hmm.
It's just one of those games, Nidhi bhai, where I am in of the feeling कि कोई भी result आ जाए, win, loss, draw,
Hmm.
I will not be too shocked by it. Like my jaw will not hit the floor. Uh,
That I agree. That I
yeah.
agree. I think ये मैच में all three मतलब of course sounds like a Michael Owen
Yeah.
statement, but genuinely ये मैच में मतलब कोई ऐसा clear favorite I wouldn't call Arsenal clear favorites.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call Liverpool clear favorites. Nor would I say कि कोई भी ये मैच में बहुत ज्यादा massively under confident जा रही
Hmm.
है. एक दो इश्यूज हैं लिवरपूल के इश्यूज के बारे में बात करेंगे. I'm sure
Hmm.
you will talk about Arsenal's issues. But I think कोई ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते हैं कि ये टीम तो मतलब परेशान होके जा रही होगी ये फिक्सचर
Yeah.
में. Because both teams have things going for them. Now स्पीकिंग ऑफ अवेलेबिलिटी और
Hmm.
थोड़ा बात करते हैं इस वीडियो को ना. विल ट्राई टू कीप इट ऑन लाइक 4 or 5 थिंग्स. सो
ठीक.
इंजरीज की बात करते हैं.
Hmm.
लिवरपूल में तो देख बहुत सिंपल है. जोटा का अभी तक श्योर नहीं है. आई थिंक मे बी आज जब प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस होगा तो शायद कुछ पता चलेगा कि डियोगो जोटा का क्या अवेलेबिलिटी का सिचुएशन है. I think press conference will start in the next 15-20 minutes or
Hmm.
whenever, right? If you talk, Robo is of course still not available.
Hmm.
Um, we have in midfield में थोड़े issues है. Gravenberch is not injured, but मुझे नहीं लगता है वो start करेगा क्योंकि वो injury के बाद आया है.
McAllister.
और McAllister is out for this fixture anyway.
Hmm.
फ्रंट में जैसे मैंने बोला जोटा बाहर है एंड द रेस्ट ऑफ द टीम इज फिट.
Hmm.
तो हमारा जो भी इंजरी स्टैक है वो मोस्टली अराउंड मिडफील्ड है और
Hmm.
डिफेंस में एक की इंजरी है.
Hmm.
रॉबर्टसन ऑफ कोर्स एंड
Hmm.
मैटिप इज आउट फॉर
Yeah,
द
yeah,
सीजन,
out for the season.
राइट. सो
Hmm.
वो दो इंजरीज है. बट व्हाट इज द सिचुएशन विद आर्सेनल इन टर्म्स ऑफ
Yeah.
इंजरीज?
It's a similar mirror ही है. I think we are missing a couple of key players in defense. I think Tomiyasu is out for this game. He
हाँ
is out injured. He will come back for the FA Cup tie जो लिवरपूल के साथ फिर से होगी एमिरेट्स पे.
हाँ
Um, Saliba is fine. Gabriel is fine. Zinchenko will play on the left. Ben White will play on the right. Timber is anyways out for the season, most likely, or he'll come back in a couple of months. I have a feeling he'll come back for the Champions League tie. So Timber is out. Tomiyasu is out in defense. In the middle, um Fabio Vieira is out. Jorginho is training. Let's see वो fit होता है या नहीं. Thomas Partey is out for this game, which I think is going to be a huge, huge miss. Um, and forward line is everything else is I think pretty much okay. So
राइट
yeah, it's a similar thing. There is a stack of injuries in the middle in terms of Jorginho Partey. There are a couple of key injuries in defense to Tomiyasu and Timber. बाकी तो लेकिन अटैक में हेसूस मार्टिनेली साका फिट हैं, एडी एंकेटिया फिट है, स्मिथ रो इज मेकिंग हिज रिटर्न अगेन. सो या इट्स प्रीटी मच अ सिमिलर मिरर इमेज. बट जो हमने जो लास्ट गेम में स्टार्टिंग 11 खेला था, most likely that starting 11 is fit and that's the starting 11 we're going to go for again.
राइट. आई थिंक स्टार्टिंग 11 के हिसाब से आर्सेनल आई वुड से कि स्लाइटली बेटर शेप में है एज कंपेयर टू लिवरपूल बिकॉज वी हैव सम रॉबर्टसन बीइंग द बिगेस्ट मिस
Hmm.
और जोटा मैं बोलूंगा इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट
Yeah,
मिस
yeah.
बिकॉज
For this game for
आर्सेनल
sure, yes.
आर्सेनल के अगेंस्ट हमको जोटा का डायरेक्टनेस अगर वो
Hmm.
फिट हो जाता है इवन इफ इज ऑन द बेंच ना इट्स अ मैसिव बूस्ट फॉर अस. बट दूसरी बात करते हैं फॉर्म की.
Hmm.
और ये मैं तेरे से पूछना चाहता हूँ.
Hmm.
This has been a discussion that has been going on for quite some time. What have you made of Liverpool's form? Because इसके पहले वाले हफ्ते में we played 3 games in a week. We won all 3, but they were not very convincing wins.
Hmm.
United के against performance was मतलब not at least attacking wise it was not the best. West Ham
Okay.
के साथ अच्छा खेले. What are you making of Liverpool's form? Because Arsenal हमने discuss किया. Arsenal is in great form. What
Hmm.
have you made of Liverpool?
Yeah, it's very confusing to like nail it down to like a word or a phrase here, because sometimes when you don't play your best you will still win your games through कभी वो ट्रेंट का लॉन्ग रेंजर पड़ जाएगा, कभी मैकालिस्टर मार देगा.
Hmm.
Against West Ham Zobos like वो एक लॉन्ग रेंजर पड़ गया, and sometimes like a team against United these long ranges don't work, right?
Yeah,
आपने जैसे United के against 30 something shots लिए थे, but a
34.
lot of them were, yeah, a lot of them were either saved or blocked or off target. But if you look at the West Ham game, it took literally, जैसे क्लॉप ने अपने पोस्ट मैच कॉन्फ्रेंस में भी बोला था, it's usually a
Hmm.
matter of inches, यार. कि बस बॉल चली जाती है द राइट प्लेस एट द राइट टाइम एंड द गेम ओपन्स अप एंड यू टॉकिंग अबाउट अ कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट गेम. So I am not of the opinion that Liverpool are struggling. I don't see it as a sign कि you are requiring world class goals. Like sometimes आपके और मानस के discussions में भी मैंने सुना है. I think
Hmm.
that is why you have world class players, right? You have these world class players to pull something out of the hat. And मुझे नहीं लगता कि it's necessarily a bad thing that you have to rely on a Salah masterclass or a Trent masterclass
Hmm.
or this player's masterclass. Like sometimes Allison will save you points, but this is why you bought Allison, right? If he was not saving you points, then फिर क्या फायदा? So this is why you have Allison who will save you against Palace जब Palace ने header मार के बचा लिया. This is why you have Virgil van Dijk who will completely repel all sort of aerial balls and everything. This is why you have Trent who'll play make, who'll assist, who'll score. You have Salah and everything. And I think putting it down कि यार Liverpool are just riding their luck. नहीं. We have bought Declan Rice for the same reason. He is a great destroyer. He is a great carrier, and he is also now getting clutch goals against United, Luton, and everything. इसलिए तो 100 million दिए हैं ताकि ये बंदा difference maker बने. अगर ये भी passenger बनेगा तो क्या होगा? So I am not of the opinion that Liverpool right now are struggling. I think right now there are a few players who are leading this Liverpool team and keeping this sort of
Hmm.
title charge alive.
Hmm.
But your supporting cast also, I think in more games than मतलब they are doing much better in more games than not doing anything. In Zoboslai का मैं जैसे देख रहा हूँ इतना कभी कभी slander होता है. I don't agree with this. I think he does better in most games than he's doing poor performances. Same thing कि like Salah को बेच दो. Remember that clip जो
Hmm.
widely
Yeah,
shared? Yeah,
that's extreme overreaction. Like एक चीज तो मैं बोलूंगा दक्ष कि I don't think we are riding our luck as such, but
yeah.
definitely अगर तू if you look at us play ना, I think एक चीज point out करनी पड़ेगी कि अटैक में
Hmm.
जैसे लुइस डियाज का फॉर्म has been concerning.
Yeah,
राइट पोस्ट हिज इंजरी उसका
hmm.
वो
Yeah.
डायरेक्टनेस वो टेक ऑन करने की एबिलिटी पता नहीं मतलब इज इट टेम्पररी आई होप इट इज टेम्पररी क्योंकि वो चीज कम हो गई है डार्विन
Hmm.
नूनेज हैज टू स्टार्ट स्कोरिंग यार एज मच एज वी
Hmm.
लव हिम टू गोल्स सिंस अक्टूबर इज नॉट गुड इनफ
Yeah, that's
राइट
true.
that's you
Yeah.
are a 64
Yeah, you
million
can
striker
you can meme it by saying chaos आ गया, but end product तो आपको चाहिए ही होगा. आप
चाहिए
कितना ही थुल कर लोगे, you need some sort of.
Exactly. Or when you're in front of the goal, you have to score. But
Yeah.
Arsenal ka form, you think is do you see any chinks in the armor for Arsenal form के हिसाब से?
Form के हिसाब से, I think the away form is a bit concerning. All our we have two losses this season, and both of
Right.
them have been
Newcastle.
away against Villa, against Newcastle, and both of them have been 1-0 losses. So I think there is a problem in Arsenal in terms of form that sometimes in away games, na, if we don't get to play the way we want to play, if the opposition rattles us, if they're super physical, जैसे Newcastle was super physical,
Hmm.
उन्होंने मार पिटाई शुरू कर दी थी,
वो
and we
तो
got हाँ and we got rattled by it, and then we were like हम क्या करें. We got frustrated by the referee decisions against Villa as well. Villa ने early goal score कर दिया, उसके बाद भी
right.
हमारे पास chances थे, and I think the biggest flaw building up of that Villa game is that we again struggle to finish a chance. We create a lot, we just struggle to finish it. You will see Jesus just heading it wide, Odegaard sometimes delaying his shot. In that Brighton game, which I think was probably one of our most dominating performances of the season, it
Yeah.
easily could have been 5 goals, Nidhi bhai. I'm not even joking you.
नहीं, I agree with that.
It's just the heroics of Lewis Dunk and our own mistakes. साका को एक इतना बढ़िया पास दिया था ओडेगार्ड ने, उसने कट बैक करके मार्टिनेली को कर दिया, just over. Same thing, sometimes the decision making from Eddie Nketiah is a little bit suspect. Jesus sometimes will overdo it. Kai Havertz will sometimes miss hit, sometimes people won't find him. So there are a bit of issues in terms of finishing for us as well. But the good thing about us is कि in the biggest games of the season, of course, Newcastle and Villa were themselves were very big games. But in the biggest games of the season, like against United, like against City, I would say Chelsea was an anomaly. But her big team ke against Spurs ke against bhi, I think we raise our level a lot. When we know the stakes are really, really, really high, we raise our level a lot. Um, and as such, yeah, I'm very satisfied with the performances. So even after the
I
Villa loss, I was not panicking. I was like, ये एक सस्टेनेबल मॉडल है, ये एक सस्टेनेबल प्ले स्टाइल है जो हम कंटिन्यूअसली खेल सकते हैं, and this is a play style that I will enjoy watching. Yes, today it's an L. Yes, it's frustrating, but I know next week your team is in चीजों पे सुधार लेगी. And this is the best thing about Mikel Arteta, that he learns from his mistakes really, really well. You will not see him
भाई
make the same mistakes in 2 games consecutively. City के साथ जो हमने last season 2 games हारे थे, this season we were completely different against City. मतलब हालैंड को pretty much 0 XG पे रोक लिया था, and apart after 10 minutes, City hardly had a shot on target. So, and it's the same thing. So we will learn, and I think from last year's ka jo trip to Anfield tha, we'll learn a lot as well.
look, as an Arsenal fan, you have to be satisfied with Arsenal के performances and Arsenal का form at this point. इसलिए मैंने बोला कि
Hmm.
right now they're playing the best football in the Premier League, maybe even Europe.
Hmm.
Now उसके आगे एक बात आते हैं. अब उसमें talking about the approach.
Hmm.
Do you expect Arsenal to go hell for leather? Because मैं एक चीज बोल रहा हूँ, हमारे साथ तो cautious approach काम नहीं करती है. We can be
Hmm.
effective at defense. हम डिफेंस को अच्छा सेटअप कर सकते हैं,
Yeah.
बट वी कांट एज लिवरपूल. आई
Hmm.
एड्रेस लिवरपूल फर्स्ट. हम एक चीज एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर सकते कि यार हमारा योर मिडफील्ड इज बेटर देन आवर्स.
Hmm.
उसमें कोई डिस्कशन नहीं, उसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है.
Hmm.
ठीक है. डिफेंस आर्सेनल इज द बेस्ट इन द लीग, बट वी हैव अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग डिफेंस
Very
एज वेल.
strong attack. Yeah.
हमारा गोलकीपर आपके गोलकीपर से बेटर है,
Hmm.
right? So I think कि that way we are okay, but we have to start this game with a high tempo. And अपने को आर्सेनल को पहले 15-20 मिनट में ना, we have to, मतलब not physically, but we have to rattle them in terms of कि this is
Yeah.
Anfield times.
Yeah. Yeah.
उसमें crowd है important, उसमें बहुत कुछ important है, हमारा खुद का performance is the most important thing. But what do you think Arsenal's approach will be for this game?
Yeah, that's the only concerning thing, Nidhi bhai. I think, I think usually in big games now, what we tend to do is
Hmm.
we tend to look to neutralize the opposition. We tend to have more control. जैसे in the city games of old, it used to be control versus chaos, or मतलब वही
Yeah.
heavy metal football versus एक sort of symphonic, controlled, methodical football होता. And I have a feeling यही हम करेंगे, because that's been pretty much our approach for 90% of the games this season, if I'm being honest.
Hmm.
Um, the good thing is there are mismatches all over the pitch for both teams जो advantage ले सकती हैं, right? There's Salah versus Zinchenko, which I think is a huge mismatch. Like you said, the midfield wala, I think if we can settle ourselves अच्छे से, we can go past your midfield. Of course, depend करता है आपका starting midfield क्या होगा. Let's say if we end up getting Endo को booking very early in the game, our job becomes much easier. But if there's somebody like, I don't know, Curtis Jones starting
Hmm.
with Zoboslai, then I think Curtis Jones would be मेरे हिसाब से a very underrated player. Similarly, um, if Trent is काफी advanced, then Martinelli might find a bit of joy against your centre backs. Saka versus Tsimikas will be very interesting. I think Tsimikas is
Yep,
good,
I agree.
but sometimes Tsimikas के लिए, if Saka is on his game, I think it could be a long day for Tsimikas as well. So
हाँ हाँ,
ये
मैं
matchups.
इसलिए तो बोल रहा हूँ कि रॉबर्टसन इज अ बिग मिस.
Yeah. And so this is why I think there are huge potential for mismatches in all parts of the game. It's just about कि हम किस approach से आते हैं, and can we hold firm in the first 15-20 minutes, because Villa के against our biggest undoing was that not only did they rattle us, but they scored early in the first few minutes only. In the first 10-15 minutes when they scored, and that was it. Uske baad the onus was on us,
या.
to take the game back to us, and we tried our best, but it just did not happen. So I think the longer this game goes on, the better and and more confident we will be to get something out of this game. But if Liverpool score that early goal in first 8 minutes, either from a long ranger, or if Salah beats Zinchenko and then bas ek goal ho gaya, then it will be a long day for us. The
देख.
idea is to take this game at least till a draw, at least for a draw till halftime. मेरे हिसाब से that should be the approach, and then you recalibrate, because I think one of the biggest differences between our teams would be that bench say we have the ability to change a little bit more. Defense
या
में नहीं शायद से, but
100.
आप approach देख के bench से different players ला सकते हो. You can get on a Trossard, you can get on an Nketiah if you feel you're getting behind. You can get on a Nelson who's been in good form. You can get on a Smith Rowe maybe if you want a bit more control. And so I think yes, these are not might not be inspiring names, but these are players who can completely change the way we play. from a runner in Martinelli to somebody with a lot more control in Trossard, who has clutch goals and long range shooting and everything. So मेरे हिसाब से approach will be control. The approach will be keeping Liverpool at bay for the first 10 minutes, and then धीरे धीरे you establish yourself in the game.
हाँ, मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ कि ये दोनों टीम्स के लिए ना 15-20 मिनट शुरू के मैच के बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होने हैं। लास्ट पॉइंट वी विल डिस्कस,
Yeah.
मैं और मतलब उसके बाद स्टार्टिंग 11 लेंगे
Hmm.
दोनों का और खत्म करेंगे। ये मैच में ना दक्ष अपने अपने दोनों के ऊपर बहुत प्रेशर होने वाला है, बिकॉज एस्टन विला मोस्ट लाइकली विल बी ऑन टॉप ऑफ द प्रीमियर
Yeah, if we draw.
लीग। नहीं नहीं, मतलब
Oh, अच्छा,
उनका मैच
before
तो
we
पहले हो
play.
जाएगा ना, उनका
Yeah,
मैच तो पहले हो जाएगा ना, तो
yeah.
एस्टन विला विल बी ऑन टॉप ऑफ द टेबल। तो वी हैव ये मैच में प्रेशर तो बहुत होगा अपने ऊपर।
Hmm.
तो आई थिंक वही है, मतलब लास्टली अगर थोड़ा अप्रोच की बात मैं भी कर लूं, तो वही 15-20 मिनट वी हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट आर्सेनल फील वेयर दे आर, आर्सेनल
Hmm.
फील द प्रेशर। वो अपने को साला वो ट्रेंट के रन्स, ओवरलैप्स, एंडो हैज टू बी ऑन पॉइंट, मतलब वो वैसे हम ऑन पेपर इंफीरियर हैं, बट वी कैन नॉट लेट दैट शो
Hmm.
ऑन द फील्ड। सिमिकास हैज टू हैव टॉप गेम, क्योंकि साका के अगेंस्ट खेलने वाला है वो।
Hmm.
बट जस्ट टू फिनिश थिंग्स ऑफ, तेरा स्टार्टिंग 11 क्या होगा, एंड देन आई विल टॉक अबाउट माय स्टार्टिंग 11 एंड देन वील फिनिश द वीडियो।
Hmm. Yeah, some players will, because of injuries, उनको तो आना ही होगा. I think Raya will be in goal. Although Ramsdale had a great performance at Anfield, I am pretty sure it will be Raya in goal. Um, it will be Ben White in right back. It will be Saliba's first game at Anfield this year, Nidhi bhai. So Saliba will be there. Gabriel will be there. Zinchenko at left back. Then Declan Rice will be at our number 6. I think we'll go with Kai Havertz again. I'll be very surprised if Trossard starts at the left 8, but most likely it will be Kai Havertz because अगर
आई थिंक
midfield पे हमें
इट
हाँ
विल बी काई हैवर्ट्स।
या
फॉर्म भी है ना।
हाँ फॉर्म भी है प्लस आई थिंक मिडफील्ड में अगर डोमिनेंस थोड़ी काउंट करवानी इन टर्म्स ऑफ डुअल्स एंड एवरीथिंग ही इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट डुअल विनर्स सो राइस हैवर्ट्स ओडेगार्ड साका मार्टिनेली हेसुस इट्स गोइंग टू बी एन अनचेंज्ड लाइनअप आई डोंट सी मच डेविएशन फ्रॉम दिस
देख, अपना भी जो भी डिस्कशन है, इट इज अराउंड द मिडफील्ड ओनली। देख, गोलकीपर एलिसन, बैक फोर तो इट सेलेक्ट्स इटसेल्फ, ट्रेंट, वैन डाइक, कोनाटे एंड सिमिकास, ये अपना बैक
गोमेज
फोर होने वाला। आई डोंट थिंक क्लॉप विल स्टार्ट गोमेज एट राइट बैक। आई थिंक व्हाट क्लॉप
एंड वो
विल डू
कौन सा
इज, nah, Kwanzaa nahi. I think Konate will start this game.
हम्म
I think what Klopp will do, I and I hope he does, is Endo khelega ye match. We have to play Endo. We have to have a defensive guy in the midfield.
हम्म
Soboslai, Endo and Soboslai will be there. I hope he starts Curtis Jones and not
या
Gravenberch, because
या
Curtis Jones provides that left में वो touch, and he's also slightly more, वो link up better कर लेता है compared to Gravenberch, purely because वो system में ज़्यादा रहा है।
डू यू थिंक हार्वी एलियट गेट्स अ चांस
Off the bench, I think. I
नॉट एज
think
अ स्टार्टर
not as a starter, because
हम्म
हमको यार कंट्रोल की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत है। एलियट थोड़ा ओवररन हो सकता है।
हम्म
We can definitely bring him on as a substitute. The biggest question is कि एक जो गैक्पो को खिलाने की बात हो रही है, वो मैं डिस्कशन बिल्कुल समझता हूँ। बट मेरा गट फील ये है कि क्लॉप विल गो फॉर डियाज on the left, Salah on the right, and you know,
डार्विन
and Darwin Nunes through the
हम्म
middle. I would have started Darwin Nunes on the left,
हम्म
right?
गैक्पो
Cody Gakpo through the center and Salah from the right. Because जो तू बोल रहा है ना, काई हैवर्ट्स जो रोल कर सकता है, गैक्पो से भी हम थोड़ा थोड़ा बहुत वो रोल
हम्म
करवा सकते हैं मिडफील्ड में. He can add an extra body when needed. But this is the difference. I think Diaz के साथ start करेगा वो, and
हम्म
how Diaz does in this game will be crucial, because even if
या
he doesn't score, even if he can create some pull defenders, so space create कर सकता है, it could be a big advantage for us.
हम्म
But यही था यार हमारा प्रीव्यू। ए फॉर आर्सेनल का जो लिंक है, जो हैंडल है, वो आपको टाइटल में ही मेंशन्ड है, तो आप जाइए सबसे पहले सब्सक्राइब करिए। दक्ष हैज जस्ट हिट 12,000 सब्सक्राइबर्स, सो दिस इज अ स्मॉल पिट स्टॉप। 12,000 पे रुकना नहीं है, इसको जल्दी से जल्दी 13 करवाओ यार, और हमको भी आगे बढ़ाओ 21 से।
हम्म
वी हैव टू हिट 25 वेरी वेरी सून, एंड Abhi I have found the final words. It's first versus second in the Premier League. This is Menace and the Monk. चलो यार, watch along आज होगा. Manas will join you for the watch along और आपसे जल्दी मिलेंगे. Until then, take care of yourselves and remember one thing: up the Reds.
Come on, you Gunners.